Hey, back on the Mercury. Might not seem like it, but it's a whole almost 2 weeks later. Yeah, we had some stuff going on, did a little traveling. Probably saw the update about Roger and SEMA will be in Vegas. SEMA, November, first week in November 2025, coming up. Look for the posted times where I will be there. I mean, if you have any interest. If not, you might have interest in this. The Mercury, we're still working on the front axle. We got the brakes in place. Nothing's finalized, but it occurred to me, we're gonna have to split the wishbone. Yeah. You hear about that a lot, but it's time to do the deal. I was hoping to get away with it, use the stock mount, but alas, sometimes the best laid plans often go awry. Alright, so I mentioned wishbone, and we're not talking about chicken. We ain't talking about bones. We're talking about this locating arm for the front axle. On the early Fords, well, a lot of early cars, it was a very simple arrangement. A straight axle with this, they call it a radius rod, they slang term radius rod, wishbone, etc. But it's a control arm. You hear upper and lower control arms in modern cars. This car didn't have it. It just had this one ball on the end that was captured in a rubber grommet, bolted up to the chassis, and you can see it's triangulated. That's what held the front axle in place. That, along with the U-bolts on the leaf spring. So, very simple design. Not the best handling, but it worked, right? So now we're upgrading to this big old engine and transmission, and guess what's sitting right here? Transmission oil pan. And it's a common thing, right? So I was hoping to not do that. I even ordered the replacement part for this. But we're going to get into splitting this, putting heim joints in place. I got two heim joints with a bung, weldable bung. Oh, that's fun times when you get to use that word in a conversation. So these are going to go in there, weld. Then after it's split, we're going to have to widen this because that was the whole thing with these. We need to move the arms over, so there's going to be a pie cut up here, and I'll get into that in a brief moment, why we're going to cut that. Firstly, let's just check this out. If you're familiar with this, no big deal. If you're not familiar with it, this is how the arrangement works for this year. This comes in. There's a pin that goes through. There used to be a sway bar mount up here, so I cut that off. Then this piece comes forward and actually hangs the spring on these shackles. Hot rod kits, you'll have the spring maybe coming off of here, so there's a spring above, and then there's a spring behind. So the spring behind gives you a little longer wheelbase, allows you to lower the car a little bit. But this is the stock configuration for 41 Ford and Mercury. Dig it? You can see the triangulation. And again, these leaf springs are just mocked up, right? We're not going to end up with these hanging down low like that. This is just what I did to get the car as low as possible for the moment. So that triangle over there, it's got to go like that. And we're going to slice right here in the end. Let's cut this off first. So there's welds right through here, and then this is a welded thing too. These aren't tubes per se; these are two stamped pieces because it's oval. So I'm imagining this cast piece. It's kind of like the end of a drive shaft or that welded bung shape. This piece probably has a little taper that slips in, and this is smaller than that, but I think we might be able to just weld this in place 2 times. Let's cut that off with the disc and see what's happening in there. Hopefully there isn't a lot of tension in this. There might be, so let's get ready for that also. interesting. It's definitely hollow, so I'm not sure how these two come together. Before we go all the way through on that, let's just get this side. Yeah, I feel the pressure building. Try not to catch the disc and break it. Let's see. I'm just going to try to wrench that off. In fact, I did it so good I broke the handle of the hammer. So yeah, there is a little bit that sticks in there, but that's kind of it. So that's cool. Let's cut the rest of that off. Well, that's good news. That's what they look like on the inside. It's kind of a cool piece. I might save that. I mean, I'm going to save it. So yeah, this thing is pretty flexible too. So when we split it, so you want to pull this out, right? But if we move this out, then this is going to pivot here and this is going to want to come in, right? Messing up not only the distance, but the angle of this is going to rotate in. So that's why some people say heat it here and then twist it, because this is just a pin. You can just rotate it out. But I don't want to mess with this just because we have a big block in the car. It's very heavy. And this is basically stock. Who knows? I may have to gusset this. We're going to find out if it does bend when we start driving. But for the moment, we're going to pie cut in here. Swing those out. We're going to get that distance that we need. We're going to crawl into the car in a bit. But first, let's examine these. You can see they moved a little bit, but they're very flexible. That's okay. We'll be able to get those back into position. But inside, there's just a little bit of weld hanging around. And yeah, look at that. That fits right in there. With that air tool, I'll just buzz that out, slip that in. Feeling me on that? Push that right in there. Bada bing. That's pretty simple. Not sure if we'll get this installed in the car 100%, but we'll have a pretty good mock-up. Seasons are changing now. I'm building a greenhouse for Jamie, and we're starting to get a little frost. Oh, that just came right out. Starting to get a little frost, and I gotta get those plants protected. Right now, they're all living in the garage. Every night, we gotta move them in now, so that's perfect. Oh yeah, look at that. So yeah, that cast thing just had a little end on it like that, and they were welded on. It works out perfect. So that'll weld in here. And then I just had these two brackets from something, I'm not sure, but I just thought they got a hole started, and maybe we'll enlarge that hole and just drop this, maybe just half of it off the frame. I got two of them, so we'll do left and right, you know, something in this orientation off of the frame. Not 100%, it's an idea. Let's clean this up a little more. If you did just watch the little jewel crane video, not sure how these are being published, but you remember we talked about it in the last Merc episode of the brakes. So, check out those videos, because building a crane, it might have a claw like the claw game, I'm not sure yet. Lovely. Yep. I get so used to using the auto darkening, you almost forget the old school way. The old school way being, you're always dark. This has a little thing. It opens up so I can look. Got it? So that looks good. Just leave it like that. Let's see. I'm gonna do one tap right here. Get that helmet. Alright, that's a little different than we're used to doing, but those welds are good. Not messing with this steering arm yet because we have to figure out how it's going to steer. I'm thinking a Vega box. That's a typical arrangement for a hot rod. And they sell a kit with the little brackets like these calipers that'll put that on there. Alright, so you see what you get here. Got some bulky welds, but they're very strong. And then, you know, like I said, this is flexible. So those two are at the same distance. I back the nuts off accordingly. You can adjust them a little bit. Let's put the glasses cam on and crawl into the car and take a measurement. So I'm gonna hop onto this car. I just got the floor jacks in place. Everything is set for safety. And you can see transmission pan. That's what's hitting this wishbone as it's coming into the mount here. So if I was to split it, you know, all the way out to the frame rails, that's pretty wide. I don't know if I want to do that. I think a lot of people do, especially with like Model A frames, but that's going to be really wide. Let's see what this mount is. I mean, let's see what the chassis is at this rough area. Say there. Yeah, we got 41. It's probably, so on the inside it's 39. I mean, let's just say a 40-inch wide spread if those wishbones were to come back. You know why I'm saying You know why I'm saying Because I thought we might just move them out to here. They're talking about that, bringing that out to 40 inches wide. So from here to here is 38. So it would be the opposite, right? We'd be cutting it right here. So it's 36. So it'll be 40 inches wide. It'll be the opposite. It'll be going out like that. Now, I don't think that's bad per se. How do you think about that? That's a heck of an angle right here because that's putting this from there. That's turning this out to straight back plus a little. You know, that puts a considerable kink in this joint. And I mean, we could plate that. That's cool. Put a little gusset here. The plot thickens. Or we could just cut this, lay it under the car, move it out just outside. You can see where the oil pan is hitting it right here. Maybe we just bring it out that much and build a bracket. Let's see. What I'm really trying to avoid is distorting this so much that it fails. Definitely don't want that. And again, it's a big heavy piece to put in and out of the car so many times. So if it was me, I mean it is me. If it was me and I wasn't on film, I would probably err to the side of caution. And I'm not even on film, this is all digital. I don't know why I'm rambling on, but this is the case. I gotta cut this. And I don't want to cut it in the car. I'm gonna be laying down there and there's room for error. So maybe I'll just cut this halfway right here on the inside of both, set it in the car, and then just widen them out and see where they land. It's not what I wanted to do, but is it ever easy? That means it's going under the car, it's getting changed, it's getting braced, it's coming back out of the car, getting finished, then cleaned, then going back under the car. I'm ready for the lift. Let me turn this welder off. We can see. I didn't want to lift this up. Ask me how I know. That's weird. I don't know why that just gave up its little plastic piece. Alright. This goes in here. So, I'm going to lift her up. Set her in place. Let me slice this first. Okay. Roughly where I want. Alright, now I'm going to slit this. I guess I'm going to slit the inside. If I slit the outside, probably doesn't make sense what I'm saying, but so what I'm going to do, because we're going to widen that. This is what I say about the inside or the outside. If I cut it here, it's just going to close up. It's going to close up a gap. I'm going to have to cut a V in it and shut it as this opens, as that opens. But if I cut it here, then this will just open up wide. I'm going to put a piece of steel in there, and then I'm going to plate around to support that. So let's just do that. Gotta watch your face. You see what I was describing? Now when this opens, I can shim it a bit and then plate this over. Let's do the same here. So, yeah, I like how strong these are too. I was worried it would be flimsy, but that is really strong. Put this under the car. What the heck we got? Probably gonna put a jack under each of these. Okay. So I want to thank everyone for reminding me to get the metal I needed when I was at the metal supply. Now let's all work together here and remind me to buy a jack with 4 wheels next time I'm down at that Harbor Freight. That's kind of close. Okay, either way, this is in the ballpark. I'm gonna crawl under here and take a look. So here we are, underneath. And man, you know, you don't even have to split it that wide. You can come right off of there. Plenty of clearance. You could set that right there. Hopefully I get my eyes on this. I'm getting a little bit stressed. Look at that. Boom. Is it gonna hit that? I don't know. Let's bring that spring into position, but this is good news. That's like super straightforward. And it was mounted there, and I could just put a brace across these two. You could leave that in place. Just use the outside of it. Or I could run this right down the center. A couple spacers. I don't know. Sky's the limit. Let's, I wish I had another stand for this. That would put that spring into place. Let me see. I think I can bring one of those ETA jacks in here. Yeah. There it is. Groovy. Yep. Now that could go right there. Let me get the front spring set. So I got the pin. There's a center pin in these springs, and that is locked right into the cross member. That's where this wants to be. That's good news. So let's get these axles evenly distance from the ground. So that puts a good amount of pressure on the spring as well. Alright, sweet. I'm not going to use the glasses right now. I'm going to crawl in there and take a look. I actually think we should bring these until it starts to suspend the car. Because that's going to, what's happening is these might hit the frame. So let's bring this up evenly side to side. I'll explain where it's going to hit the frame once we get this closer. I'll bring this up to 20 if it will. That's at 20. Let's see what this side does. So as I'm raising this up under the car, I'm bringing the springs and the wishbones and everything closer and closer to the chassis. So see right now, the car is up off of the jack stands. That's what we're looking for right there. So that's as low as it'll go. And it's too low to drive right now, which is cool. So if I can get these to work without hitting, all right, see these are way up in the fender now. See this? This is what I was describing. Make sure everything is cool here. So as this goes in, see it's hitting the chassis right there. That's what I was worried about. Don't want that. Nope. So, so this is the path of least resistance. I'm gonna move this just a little bit to take a look. See where it's hitting? So that means when we hit a bump like that, this is hitting the frame. Unless we twist these down just a little bit, and we can do that. But that puts that rod right here. And I don't mind putting a cross member across here. Maybe a flat cross member across here. And then this up like that. That totally works. Because coming in, see how the chassis goes and goes? That is the area with the most room for the lowest ride. But I'll have to get on the other side and check. We'll have to get a piece of steel to cross over that. I definitely don't mind doing that in a full-size car like this. On a hot rod, it wouldn't look very good. Whoa! Yeah. But so if I pull this out, whoa, yeah, see, it likes that. See, it lands right through there. So, yeah, this is above. Cross member straight across. Wish I could get this car higher up. That would really help. Solid plan, but do we just go for it? Are you requesting something? Well, Shadow has brought in the ball. I went down to the shop and things have changed just a little bit. There's a request. It's later in the afternoon. Let's see how we're going to develop this project. Remember, we need a cross member to mount those heim joints to. So I found this piece of flat stock. Well, it's tube, flat rectangular tube. That could go across. Then I found this round stock. That's 1/8 wall. It's a little heavier. You could build something and triangulate that. I grabbed my welding helmet, some anchor lube, And then these brackets from another 4-link kit, so they fit the hardware perfectly. So can you imagine this sitting under the car with an abbreviated bracket to hold that? Or this? All right, well, we all know anything's possible. We all know things take time. And we all know we want to get this car on the ground. So I think tomorrow I'm going to work towards that effort. We solved a couple key things, mostly the way that those wishbones will interact with the frame, the stock frame. It's going to be low, but not that low. Also, I got some rims prepped, so I'm going to bring those to the tire shop, have them installed with tubes, etc. Because you can see the mismatches are still there. We need 2 of the same size tires on the front to get that position correct. So 2-part series, or to be continued.
Hello.
It's real. It's real TV.
Did I catch you doing something you shouldn't be?
Well, there is a beer open. I don't know. Come back next time. We'll do it again.